All right, this is going to be a quick overview of Blackboard. It's going to apply to both my 1013 and my 1023 students. I'm going to just show you the 1013 class right now. I'll bounce you briefly into 1023 at the end. So if you were in that particular section, you can stay to the end, but essentially everything is organized in pretty much the same way, with one big exception, which I'm working to correct right now. So yeah, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and take a look here. I've already got it set up in student view. So this is what you will see when you come on. You'll see the announcements here front and center. The most recent one will be at the top. You can also click here should you go ahead and want to look at all of the announcements that have happened throughout the semester. If you want to go back, the start here is going to include this Blackboard video, so that's a little bit meta. I haven't really built anything into that yet, but that is going to happen by the time you're reviewing this video. Contacting me, my information's all here with directions on that. Again, this is something that typically I'll also include at the top of the syllabus, but it's here just in case. Syllabus and schedule, as mentioned, are here. If you click onto this, it will bounce out a PDF version into a new tab in your browser. The Word version will just download. You'll need Word in order to be able to open that, but you can get access to that free as a student for UTSA. So if you haven't yet obtained the Office suite of products, you can do that via UTSA for free, and that's a really good idea. Even if you don't write in Word, it'll be helpful to convert things to Word, so it's a good idea to have it. And then the schedule, I've just got it here since we're going to rely on it so much. And again, you have PDF and Word versions should you want to download those for your own use. You will notice, for example, here for my 1013s, the paper 1 is talked about starting on week 2. There's a prep due week 3. There's an initial version due week 4. And then the peer editing and the revised versions are due on week 6. For 1023, that's going to look slightly different, but that's just to illustrate that when you see them talked about here in terms of what we'll cover, that's just merely the start of that particular unit, and then we'll work toward completing that paper by the end of the unit. So that's how the class is organized typically. Let's see here. So you are going to, this semester, my 1013s will be doing live sessions. So you'll access those here. If you are my 1023 class, it's online only, so this won't happen. We're going to use Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. You will see the live session. Those are recurring. So when the particular week's class becomes available, it will populate here. You'll click that. You'll be sent into the room, which looks like a less fancy Zoom essentially. So, but there are some cool things that I can do with that. I can break you out into small groups. I know you can do that with Zoom as well, but I think the functionality here is actually better, which is not usually a thing I say about Blackboard. So assignments are all listed here in order. You'll see them all displayed. I don't know why they're all displaying like this, but here they are. But you'll also be able to access those through this here, the weeks. Like for example, on week 4, when the initial version of the paper is due, you'll see that there. If you click that link, you will bounce directly to the assignment. And so that will give you, again, here's the due date, the points that are possible. It should be showing in that way with the assignments. That is a little funky that it is not. Let's see here. Yeah, if you click there on the initial version, yeah, you'll see the same exact view. You just have to click on it. There will be a display of the information on the assignment, but you actually need to click on it in order to be able to turn it in. And again, you'll see, again, you agree to submit your paper to the global reference database because we are utilizing that this semester. And then you'll typically want to attach your file. Again, if you write in Google Docs, convert it to a Word file before you upload it to Blackboard, because Google Docs and Blackboard do not play nicely together. It's designed for Microsoft Word very specifically. So just download that as a Word file to your desktop. You can do that pretty easily in Google Docs, and then you'll just upload it here into Blackboard. You'll hit the submit button when you want to submit it. You can save the draft and work on it, but if you hit this button, I won't be able to see it. You have to hit submit for it to cross over to me. So that is a thing that you should be mindful of as you are trying to turn in your assignments. Okay, the discussion boards are going to be very important because in addition to the live sessions we have, and you'll see here, I've got a bunch, they're prepped already. They're ready to go week to week. You'll have for 1013 live session discussions for my 1023s where we don't have live sessions. It'll just say week 1, week 2, week 3 discussion. And then there are these extra kind of breakout chats as well. And we might have some of those in the later weeks as well. But there's just so much information to cover in the first couple of weeks. And I typically like to have breakout discussion threads on those particular topics. So you'll see probably a lot more of those. You're still required to do 6 contributions within a 3-week period. And that's 6 for the total discussion block. That's not 6 per individual discussion thread. So it should be a pretty easy mark to hit. If you are at all interacting with your fellow students, you'll probably get much more than 6. But again, this can be a challenge anytime, particularly in a pandemic time, but that's an important thing to consider. Okay, so lecturettes, you'll see everything that I have assembled. And I'm probably going to throw a few more in here for both of my classes, so 1013s and 1023s, you should see a little bit more information coming throughout the semester. But again, that'll be in your weekly folders as well, right? So like, for example, in week 1, if you go there, you're going to see the writing process and the voice video are both lecturettes that I've added. Again, since we only have 50 minutes in the 1013 classes, that's way less than we need to cover all of the material that we're going to do for certain weeks. And so I've built these lecturettes, and I've also, of course, built these lecturettes for fully online classes where, again, sometimes it's important just to hear what I have to say. But then again, in this situation, obviously, you need to do it via viewing a video rather than me being in front of you. So that's why those are there. Let's see, and then resources are just a bunch of different documents that I put together. There are some things for some of the assignments that we're doing. Like, for example, we're going to do some exercises around voice early, just to learn those sorts of things. Again, that's not tied to one particular assignment, but that is something that is going to be important to y'all as you continue through the entire semester. And so we talk about that now. And then, others of these are just like, this is a free writing exercise that can help you develop papers, particularly in the invention phase or the pre-writing phase. And that's something that we'll talk about fairly early. 3 kinds of paragraphs. That is a PowerPoint. So obviously you will need the Office suite to be able to view that, although I think it will pop into something analogous like Google Slides if you open that and you don't have the Office products. But the videos in the lecturette section will also cover that as well. So if you're not able to view the PowerPoint for whatever reason, you should still be able to do that. If you can't view that, though, let me know. I can try to get a Google Slides option available to you if that is something that you prefer. And then a reading buildings and public spaces set of articles. That is something that lives in our, and it's bouncing over, it lives over in our library database. So we just click to that in a new tab and you would have that and you would be ready to go. All right, so, and that's about it. Course messages I don't really use, so please don't utilize that. If you are trying to get in touch with each other and you don't want to give each other your personal emails, or you're not connecting via, like, for example, GroupMe, which I think is a really good idea, or WhatsApp, which is weird, but, I know some people use it. No judgment. So, but course messages can be a good way to get in touch with each other, but just know that I am not going to avail of myself of that. So you should email me or you should text me. But course messages is a really, really bad way to get in touch with me. And it's very likely that your pleas there will go unseen. So don't use that. So this is a feature that's in 10.13 right now, but not in my 10.23 show because this just appeared. So basically, this is just a week by week view of everything. It tracks, it's the exact same stuff that's in here. So if you go there like that and you see this folder that's there, if you click here to that folder, exact same stuff, right? So it's just a different navigation that is available to you in 10.13 right now. Not in 10.23. I'm going to try to get them to do that. This is just something that appeared with the course shell for one, but not the other. I don't know why. So anyway, that is a little tour of Blackboard. Also, oh, your grades, when you get individual grades, and again, you'll see everything that is graded. Your discussion blocks are graded because they're tied to your attendance grades. And then everything else, you should have a little grid that appears on, for example, the initial version, the revised version, anything that's got a rubric will have like a little grid box. When you get your grade, click that box because that will actually allow you to see all the comments that I've included in addition to what is the default comments in the rubric, which you'll also see in each of the major assignment descriptions, right? So if I go to one of those, you will see all this rubric information here, the categories that you're being graded on and what the individual categories mean in relation to how well you've met the particular parameters there. And again, that is for each major assignment that you have, right? So the preps and the peer editing sessions will have their own grading criteria, but they're much more streamlined. Again, these are much shorter assignments. These are en route to help you with the big ones. And again, kind of a funky thing here in the paper one situation, because you have an initial version and a revised version, your peer editing summary is between those the rest of the way. And then this is the same for all of my 1023 class project assignments. You'll have a prep, you'll have a peer editing summary, and then you will have the actual paper that is due, right? So elective midterm assessment in the middle here, right? So all of these things are here one after the other from beginning to the end of the semester. It kind of looks alike a lot when I scroll through it in this way. You should hopefully not be intimidated by everything that is here. It all fits together. It's designed with a 15-week semester in mind. We will move from one to the other. We will move purposefully, but hopefully it will not be overwhelming. That is definitely my aim in terms of creating the classes. I want them to be challenging. I want them to keep you busy and active and engaged and build upon what you do from paper to paper, but they should not be intimidating. And if you're finding yourself overwhelmed, please check in with me. That has nothing really to do with Blackboard, but everything to do with what I am hoping to impart to you throughout our time together. Okay, so there's a couple other things. Panopto video we're probably not going to use, but some of the videos might show in that form, but I may go ahead and hide that. Tools, student resources, those are just various things that we have that are available that I might avail us of, but we may not have time to utilize them. So try to keep it pretty streamlined. Okay, so that was that. And then just real quick, I'm going to go bounce back to 1023. So if you have a 1023 section, it looks exactly the same. It's the same message as to my 1013s. Again, no weekly work, but if you go to the weeks like that, and you look at week one, for example, you'll see what you have to do there. And again, there's more lecturettes and there's more exercises and things like that for two reasons. One, you're starting on your first paper pretty soon, right out of the gate. And then also, I don't have any live session time with you at all. So everything that I deliver to you will be via lecturettes in terms of me speaking to you, right? So, and then of course in the discussions, if you go to the discussion boards, you'll see it set up the exact same way, starting with the getting to know you. And it looks like so far there is maybe one person that has jumped in and I need to check in with them. And again, this is my view, so this looks slightly different. I'm going to enter the student preview now. And then if you go to the discussion, Yeah, pretty much the same, except the numbers look slightly different because these are all posts that I have created. So these are things where you're going to want to check in when you are ready to start engaging on these. And obviously, the getting to know you, the week one discussion, the writing process, and the voice are all ones that you probably want to get into in the first week. The 3 kinds of paragraphs should be a week 2. I'm actually not seeing a week 2 discussion in there right now. So that is something I'm going to fix because that should be in there and it's not, which is weird. So I'm not sure what's up there, but I'll find out. And then otherwise, yeah, it otherwise just looks the same. All right, so that is a tour through Blackboard and just kind of an initial orientation for the class. I'm hoping this is useful to you, and I will see you. And of course, if you have questions, let me know. But in the meantime, I hope that you are acclimating well to this format. And yes, again, please let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks so much. Take care.